We're at my future retirement house in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. If I can ever get to retirement, which I don't see that happening because I love to work and I love what I do. And but we did bring up, because we're looking for properties up here in Steamboat. Steamboat is on fire. It's going way up with Altera purchasing Steamboat Springs Resort, which is right there on the other side of this hill. It's been blowing up. Price has been going through the roof. It's got a whole lot of growth. It's going to be a lot like Vail or Aspen. It's already the third or fourth most expensive. When we bought here 5 years ago, it was like the eighth most expensive. So there's a lot of growth going on here. And so we brought our team, including Julian Alexander, who runs investor relations, up. And this is your first time in Steamboat Springs?
So yeah, I'm blown away by what I saw. I think I've told you before, I'd never had considered or looked at Steamboat in an investment, as an investment vehicle or location. And when I first started hearing all the opportunities that you had said were to be found here, I said, okay, let me check into it. So came here and you started driving me around and showing me what is happening. And I was blown away. I could not believe the amount of development that I saw. I mean, construction pretty much everywhere. And in my estimation, it was always a small town, you know, but there's no way that a small town needs that kind of development unless the demand is here.
Yep.
And so as far as I'm concerned, I'm sold.
Yeah, the demand is definitely growing here. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you can hear it right now or not, but they're building right over here, building another house right here, another house going over there. But even especially on the housing side of it, there's a lot of condos and houses and hotels actually being built because there's such a undersupply. There are doctors that look at moving here and they say, I can't afford a house. So I can't afford to, move up there and work for the hospital. So they're actually building some employee housing, not necessarily for doctors, but for the nurses and everything else also.
Yeah, absolutely. That was something that I noticed, not only been hearing from people, but when we went to that real estate company and all of the flyers that they had posted for properties. Oh my gosh. I mean, just the median household, the median home price was 2.9?
2.880,
2.8, yeah, 2.9. And the median condo is 1.8.
It was at 1.8?
Yeah.
I was thinking it was 1.4, but 1.8.
1.8.
1.8 because, and that's a median is $1,000 a foot.
Yeah, crazy.
For a condo.
Just crazy. And it just doesn't seem to be enough being built.
But rents are insane too. I mean, people can't find a bedroom, just a bedroom in a house to lease for less than $1,400 a month.
Yeah, well, you remember the conversation we had with the young waitress?
Yep.
Who her roommate and her roommate's brother rent a small house, and they pay, I think, a little over $1,500 a piece.
Each, yeah, for each three. $4,800.
$4,800 for a small 3-bedroom house.
Yep.
Crazy.
It's a very small bedroom. But then you've got these massive houses all the way around that are anywhere between, on a low side for a nice house is $3 million, because you said median was 2.8.
2.8.
And but that's just the middle. There's a lot higher, but the lower stuff is not even in Steamboat. It's in Routt County, is right around us.
Well, we're talking right now about residential real estate. Let's shift over to the commercial real estate. In particular, we're looking at the Old West building.
Correct.
There on Main Street, Lincoln.
Yep.
Is Main Street, correct? It's also
I-40.
I-40.
It's actually an
heavy,
interstate.
Heavy traffic count going through there, so high visibility.
Yep.
And so that's a 20,000, give or take, square foot building.
Correct.
And it's mainly 2-story, although there are some 1-story aspects to it. But when you look at a house that is for sale for 6, 7, 8 million, and we can pick this thing up for right around 6 million.
Yep.
And really the value's in the dirt.
Yeah, because you think about that. We're paying right now we've got under contract at 6.1. Of course, it needs some CapEx, things like that. But the land is worth at least $3 million. So even though the building, 21,000 and change on square footage, we're paying like $288 a square foot
Yep.
for that building with the land. If you strip the land out, just the structure, we're only paying like $140 a foot
Yeah.
for the structure. That to replace the structure is probably $1,000 a foot.
Oh, easy. Yeah. Easy.
So, and it's on Main Street, so there's a huge amount of growth.
Yeah.
One of the things, I don't know if you noticed, but downtown, it was a lot of mom and pop shops, but now there's a lot of things. I mean, these are not huge, but Lululemon came in. They did a pop-up shop for a while to see if they can get enough sales,
Yeah.
and they went ahead and got a place on Main Street. Lucchese, high-end boot company, they just put in a brand new space that's gorgeous. There's a thing called SBNY, Steamboat New York, and it's two sisters of a billionaire that she's in New York, a fashionista there, and the other sister lives here in Steamboat, and they opened a place in downtown. They must have spent $1 million just on their storefront. And it's turning a lot more like Aspen and Vale on the higher end shops, and all that whole strip downtown,
Yeah.
which there's not any other place to go if you're adding retail.
Yeah.
That whole strip downtown, that's all going to be changing over the
Oh,
next.
yeah, well, I saw a lot of renovation going on, And, as an investor, the question in my mind, and I would believe any investor that is thinking about making a decision on where to deploy their capital, I have to ask, well, why is it that we could get this building for 6.1 million? And so after my visiting the building, walking through it, looking at our inspection report. So the building was constructed in 1947, and as such, you could imagine that it is going to require some improvements, although I would believe that 40%, would you say about 40% of the suites have already received pretty extensive
Yes.
renovation?
Yep.
But the bones of the building is older, and you've got some issues with the roof, issues with some electrical, and potentially an issue with some plumbing. So that's why we could get it for a lower price. The seller, they're not, I won't say they don't have to sell, because I really don't know what their position is. But from what I gathered, and what I was told, that they've got a lot of equity in the building. They're developers, and they just want to take that capital, deploy it elsewhere.
Right.
And they are also timing out on their debt.
Their debt.
So their debt is terming out, and they have a pretty low interest rate since they acquired it in, I think,
20.
yeah, let's just call it mid-2020. And so you remember what rates were then.
Yep,
and
rates are
so
extremely
they're in
low.
a great position for their senior debt, but that's coming due. And so it's providing a little more motivation as opposed to refinancing that debt at 5 3/4 to 6 3/4.
Yeah,
So
that's-
that's the reason, in my estimation, that we're able to get it at a price that, if you compare it to what the residential is going for, it just kind of
Yeah, it doesn't even compare.
No,
I mean,
it doesn't, right?
I mean, we're even looking at that building saying that we can convert a couple of those spaces to Airbnb and make a whole lot more money.
Well, I think we could, because there's that one suite that has, it's kind of a split level. You walk in, you either go up, you go down.
Yeah, we got two of
really
those we can do
nice
that
with the wrought iron railing.
Mm-hmm.
Easily, that could be an Airbnb. I mean, you're 5 minutes walking to just about any kind of retail restaurant, and your 5 minute drive to pretty much other kinds of things that would be of interest. You can walk right to the river. You could drive right to the ski slopes. I mean,
You can walk to all the restaurants and bars. That's
yeah,
important.
Yeah, yeah. In case you have one too many, you can walk
Exactly.
back without having. You could leave the car if you took it.
Exactly.
And walk back.
And we actually have parking at this building, which is
We do.
an
we do.
unusual thing to actually have
It's-
parking
it's-
downtown.
It's not ideal in the number of parking spaces, but at the same time, there's off-street. I mean, there's on-street parking.
Yeah,
so-
and at least we have some though.
Yes, 19
And-
spaces.
And really, we can think about this as a long-term land play. It's more of a covered land play.
Well, and yeah, and I'm glad you say that, because being that it's a 1947 build, let's say 5, 10 years down the road, it's time to tear it down. Well, that dirt has just gone up in value.
Yep.
exponentially. It's right at around half an acre,
Yep.
right? It's of course in town, so it's high density, and I believe that in 10 years that would have doubled in price easily.
Yeah,
Easily.
just the land,
Just
yeah,
the land,
just
yeah.
land, yeah.
Yeah.
And they can go up there, I think, 42 feet. So you can build 3 stories there eventually, and you can have 100% coverage on the lot.
Right.
So you can have a half of 23 times 4. You can have a 47,000 square foot building, rough,
Yeah.
plus or minus,
Yeah.
and go ahead and build that with condos. That the condos on that top floor,
Oh, they'll have some beautiful views.
beautiful views, and those condos would probably be 6 million apiece.
Yeah, because if you think about right now, the median condo price is 1.8. So 10 years from now, even 7 years from now,
And downtown,
and downtown,
and
in the
downtown.
heart of everything.
Yeah. So I mean, when we've done projections, we've really missed the upside when we're projecting. So we've been budgeting a 16% average annual return for people across the board for the last 30 years.
Yeah.
But we've doubled that. And again, it's not that we're some magic formula or something. It's just that we're right place at right time.
Yeah.
And the market drove everything up. But if the market wouldn't have driven everything up, we budgeted just a small increase, and we would have been at that 16. But the market went crazy, so we did a lot better than that. But here, we're not budgeting a huge increase. I'm looking at, we're paying 6.1, at least contract price right now. And in 5 years, I only budgeted in a sales price at 9.8, 9.9.
Insane.
Insane. I mean, so it's going to be a lot more.
Another thing, and I don't want this part of the conversation to turn into politics, but regardless of who ends up in the White House, interest rates are going to come down. Supply is still low relative to demand,
Yep.
and prices are going to go up. Interest rates are going to come down on mortgages, and so therefore, the debt that we're looking at is a
Date the rate, buy the property.
yeah. So it's not one that we would be locked into, such as a agency debt, Fannie or Freddie.
Yeah, because what we're looking at is a credit union loan. So no prepayment penalty. It is still full recourse, but no prepayment penalty. It's 6.5 to 6.75% interest, which I think is a good loan, but it's only about 60% loan to cost. So low leverage, which is really low risk, especially right now when prices drop.
Yep.
It's
But
the people that are upside down.
It's a perfect example of the buy and stabilize, and in 24 to 36 months refinance out.
Yep.
This one couldn't be better timing, because interest rates are going to be coming down, thereby prices are going to be going up. I believe cap rates are going to compress, and the refi would be a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Absolute no-brainer.
So even though we're going in with projected numbers at the 6.75% interest and holding it for 5 years, we didn't even budget in there a refinance, which will spike the numbers even better. And our returns are in that 16% range on projectors right now, without having the additional appreciation that I think Steamboat is going to have. When we bought our house here, like I said, it was like the 8th lowest price. It was $360 per square foot for the homes. Now, for a home like this, it's $850 a square foot. And so the appreciation, I wanted to tell everybody, you need to buy in Steamboat, because I'm buying it. This is a great deal, but I didn't go out there and tell everybody, because I didn't know enough about Steamboat. I couldn't make that representation.
Now you do. Heck, I didn't know much about Steamboat, and now I know a heck of a lot more. So yeah, I'm excited. I think other aspects of the deal or the building, because there's two aspects to it. You got the asset, and then you got the deal. Is that the exposure to leases terming out or expiring will only enhance the deal, because right now our average is 20.
I think it's under $20.
Yeah, I thought it was like right around $20 and something cents. and in 12 months we could easily be at $25
Correct.
per foot.
Yeah, and there's actually a lot of shorter leases that are terming out over the next year and a half, 2 years. So we should be able to get higher rents on all.
And that's why I said I think this is a culmination of events. This is what one might call the perfect storm. You know, lowering interest rate environment, a rising of values through compression in cap rates, and then you take that in conjunction with higher rents because of the low $20.50 that we have now, and potentially increasing it 25% to $25.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's nothing.
Yep, but we didn't even budget in hitting that number.
No.
So, like
Yeah.
I said, I'm overly conservative usually.
Well, yeah, we have that tendency to under promise and over deliver. Now, mind you, that events such as COVID and post COVID, which nobody saw coming, could always happen. So there's never any guarantees, right? But from what I'm seeing, I love the deal.
So this one is this Old West building. Is that a 2 thumbs up?
That's a. Do I have 3? Yeah, that's a 2 thumbs.
2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up. Okay, yeah. So we like the deal. So if you're interested in getting into an Old West property, right now we're looking at about a 3.1 to 3.4 capital raise, low leverage, and here in Steamboat Springs. Now you can travel here, and it's tax deductible because you're checking on your investment. And if we put in Airbnbs, that could be a bonus as well.
Oh, absolutely. So, Dawn, one of the things that I liked was the mix of the units, right? There is a restaurant. There is a bar and grill, which is kind of a sports bar.
It's a sports bar.
It's a sports bar. There's a retail shop. Actually, there's a couple of retail environments. One of them is Steamboat Hatters, I think it's called.
Steamboat Hatters.
Yeah.
My wife's favorite hat shop in the country, I think.
Yeah, and so I was blown away when I'm talking to somebody that they do infinitely more business on the web than they do in person. But they have hats that they custom make from $1,500 up to $4,000, and they do a ton of business. So there's that. There are some office buildings. There's actually it was quite interesting. Remember the office space that is, what is the name of that they do they sell the prosthetics?
Click Medical, yeah, they sell prosthetics.
And so they kind of they're out of Wyoming, but they have this office here. And I don't know that they specialize, but they sure did have a lot of pictures and equipment or prosthetics for athletes.
Yep.
You know, people who were active, mountain climbing, stuff like that. I was blown away because you think prosthetics is a replacement knee or a hip. This is
so
completely
much more
different. So the diversity of the tenant base, I appreciated, because in my mind I was thinking, okay, you know, it's a touristy town. You're gonna have beads and trinkets and that kind of stuff.
Not there.
And no, I was really impressed by that.
There was quite a few. Another one does staffing for IT companies.
Oh yeah.
And they're based out of that little building in Steamboat Springs, yet they do national business.
Yes.
The small restaurant in there, it's a small hole in the wall.
It's a Japanese restaurant.
Yeah, and they've only got 4 or 5 tables in their total.
But they've been there 13 years, I'm told.
Yeah, and their food, I'm told, is incredible. I want to go there now.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have gone in from the outside, but everybody says how good the food is.
Yeah.
We've got the sports bar, which is, they've got a big space.
Yeah.
The retail in front, the Click Medical doing that. We've also got some offices in there. There's a 3-bedroom apartment. And it's more of a crash pad. It's not.
Yeah, it is.
It's not a nice place, but it is still rent out for $3,000 a month easy.
Yeah.
And it's currently leased at $2,200, so we can also raise the rents on that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But if we could take that one unit that is that kind of like split level that I said, you walk in, you either go down or you go up.
It's nice.
And convert that to Airbnb. I've got to believe in peak you could get $350 to $400 a night.
Yep.
Easily. easily.
So
So
I think there's a lot of opportunity there. Might have to raise a little bit more money for things like the Airbnb or
yeah, but
some other.
I mean, the unit itself, the finish house, is in good shape. The only thing that it's missing is a shower
Mhm.
and furniture.
Yep.
Other than that,
Easy peasy.
yeah, absolutely. So,
And so that one's good. And then there's also a fitness, Pilates and fitness.
oh, that's right.
space.
Yeah, I forgot.
That-
That's big space. It
Yeah.
goes from one side of the building to the other.
They've actually got 3 spaces, one on each side. Actually, they got 2 on each side right now, but one of them they're trying to.
And they have
At least
a mezzanine space.
The
over
mezzanine
each-
space above also.
Yeah, on both sides of it. So
Yep.
there's actually 4 spaces there.
Yep. They've got big space, but the location is great. Downtown, long-term land play. The tenants are good. We'll probably be able to raise the rents on them.
Oh,
So even though I was budgeting turning over units, I think that we'll be able to raise the rents on them stay, and I won't have that built-in vacancy
Yep.
that I plugged in. So we might be able to do a lot better
I'm certainly.
on those.
I guess you can tell we're a little excited about this opportunity.
That is his happy face.
I am, because hey, listen, this kind of a deal does not come around all the time, and when you couple it with the time frame that we're in, where the Fed's starting to lower the rates, the economy
Probably at the bottom of the market right now.
Yeah, the economy's still quite robust. Yes, are there people who are dealing with issues of not being able to make their monthly obligations? Absolutely, and we cannot overlook that.
Can't overlook that.
But there are still plenty of sectors in the economy that are doing quite well.
Oh, and it's a block away. We're on 11th Street. On 10th Street is where they're putting in the brand new city hall and meeting space and a new fire department and all that.
Yeah.
That's a block away, and they've spent 40 some odd million on that just right now, a block away.
Yep,
So
absolutely.
now I do think that we need to, on the value add side, they painted the property a couple years ago.
Yep.
So the paint's in good condition. There's some little bit of wood rot here and there we got to take care of.
It just kind of drab. It doesn't pop.
It doesn't pop, but I think that what's nice about that is we don't have to paint the whole property. If we just paint the trim, it'll make that whole thing pop.
Absolutely.
It'll look like a brand new building,
Right, absolutely.
and only painting the trim.
Yeah, and also with it being right on the main road, it would require a little more maintenance, but not nails and hammers, but like a pressure washing the building once a year, because you get all that road dust and dirt like that, and that's another reason why I think the facade looks a little drab.
Maybe every spring after they get rid of all the dust and everything.
Exactly.
off the
But
road.
that's cheap. That's nothing.
And even snow removal, we have that plan and where that goes, and we'll deal with the neighbor on that. It's right next to a couple of great restaurants also, the Laundry and Creekside Cafe right there, which is really nice.
Yep.
No, I mean, it has everything going for it. The thing that amazed me about Steamboat, it actually doesn't amaze me, it annoys me, is that everybody up here, they don't have to sell. There's zero motivation for anybody to do anything. And they basically say, look, we want to take this price and we get that price, we'll take it. Like this building last year, actually was on the market for like 2 years at 6.9 million. And that's all they do. They just put stuff out there and say, look, I'll take this for it. If somebody's stupid enough to pay me for that, then I'll give to it. And so it fell off the market, was off the market for a while. And so I came in, made that offer, made that deal.
Yeah.
And they
And it's
saw
interesting because the owner is a developer,
Yep.
right, and who develops all over the country, and do
out of their little
apartments
office in
out of their
Steamboat.
little office, Steamboat.
Yep.
Yep, pretty big. So, all in all, I think there's no reason to even hesitate, in my opinion, on this deal.
Yep.
So, folks, if you're interested in getting your piece of paradise, give me a call, shoot me an email, a text. Heck, send me a smoke signal. Let's talk. you will not regret it.
That's right.